Hello, everybody, and welcome to my talk show, because that's what it looks like. This is not The View, this is The Valpal. And are you subscribed? Wow, I have a laptop and everything set up in front of me with all of my notes. You would think I'm a professional. You would think. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is The Valpal, and thank you so much for joining me on today, this day, whatever day you're watching this. I am so excited to be going over some of the updates from the Animal Crossing update that is coming. Although I was pleasantly surprised with so many of the announcements, I do have to say, and you know what, why not? Let's throw it all to the wind, or whatever the saying is. At this point, I make up my own sayings. Let's throw it to the wind. It's okay, my dog's an airbender. We don't have to be afraid of wind here. Peep my last video. Why not start with a little controversy? I'm gonna say it. Animal Crossing New Horizons, even with the updates that I am very thrilled about, don't get me wrong, it is still my least favorite Animal Crossing game. Not that that was relevant in any way, but, you know, why not stir the pot? I'm gonna be canceled at some point in this career, so let's get it over with. Now let's go ahead and get on with it. This video is about who we will not be. I hate that I'm sitting like this. I hate it. I feel like very machad in this stance. Before we get into who we will not be seeing with this new ACNH update, let's go ahead and talk about what we're excited for. Or more specifically, who we are excited for. A lot of these faces that I'm about to mention, I really did not know if they were gonna see the light of day. The island light. The light of the island day. Oh boy, was I wrong. Coming in hot is the one, the only, Harriet from Shampoodle. From her humble beginnings, renting a small space in Tom Nook's shop, to then a bigger space for her whole Shampoodle business in Animal Crossing Cityful. Now, she is going to be joining us in Animal Crossing New Horizons in Harv's Plaza. By the way, am I the only one who ships Harriet and Harv? The 70s looks they are serving in the trailer, I would have thought they were Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher. The 70s show. Not that one, the. Alongside her at the plaza, we have the founding father, the one and only, the George Washington of Animal Crossing, Tortimer. What a legacy he has left behind. An absolute icon to be retiring to an island, which he already did. And now he's back, and I'm not really sure what he's going to be doing at Harv's Plaza, but I'm here for it nonetheless. I could listen to his old man rambles all day long. I will pay all of the Nook miles for Tortimer to be gasping, because he's pretty old at this point, sweet Animal Crossing histories into my ear. And Reese and Cyrus. No, not just an easy on the eyes wedding couple photographer shoot. They are taking it back to their retail days, and you can now customize some of the items that you can redeem Nook miles for at the ABD. You can customize them with Reese and Cyrus in retail, or their little retail pop-up at Harv's Plaza. How many times am I going to say Harv's Plaza? It's the place to be tonight. Tonight, tomorrow night, the night of November 5th. One of my favorite lines from Animal Crossing is as follows. And remember, bad times are just times that are bad. And I'm telling you, Katrina was either speaking through Buddha or Gandhi, or maybe she herself is my new religion. She's really speaking, what is it called? Speaking in tongues? Is she speaking in tongues? Spitting fire is what I was trying to say. And although bad times are just times that are bad, I really can't expect any of the times on Harv's Island to be anything but rad. Speaking of the most iconic Animal Crossing lines, the most quotable character in all of the AC history, singing his little shanty songs, rowing to and fro, none other than Cap'n himself. He's coming back. He's making an appearance. What's that? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's flippin' Cap'n, and he's gonna be rowing to and froing. Can't wait. I honestly couldn't believe that Nintendo would leave the island life with no signs of Cap'n, the actual island king. It absolutely blows my mind that being serenaded and somewhat harassed by this Kappa didn't make the cut. The reason I don't really understand it is because I can almost guarantee Cap'n's wife was begging Tom Nook to take Cap'n miles and miles away from her, to the point where she could no longer hear all of his singing that she absolutely despised. Well, he heard her loud and clear, and so did the creators at Nintendo, because here he is in Animal Crossing New Horizons. No hate to a guy and his side hustle, taxiing you around in Animal Crossing Wild World, busting you back and forth in Animal Crossing City Folk. The man was just trying to give his little dear daughter Layla a nice island life, which he accomplished in Animal Crossing New Leaf. So I'm pretty curious to hear some of his little tales about why he's back. While we're on the topic of Cap'n, something I noticed from the initial update trailer that Nintendo released was that they didn't showcase if you and multiple friends can be shuttled back and forth to these mysterious islands with Cap'n, because that is something that you used to be able to do in Animal Crossing New Leaf when you would have friends visit from other towns, or you would visit their town, a little of this, a little of that. So I'm hoping they'll bring it back with the update. We kind of just went over a lot, and to be frank, we only scratched the surface of the update that's coming November 5th. And like I said, even though Animal Crossing New Horizons is not my favorite Animal Crossing game, it's actually my least, I was still pleasantly surprised with the update. There are so many things they brought back with this update that I really felt the game was missing compared to previous Animal Crossing games. And I know that Animal Crossing New Horizons has to be its own version of the franchise. It can't be just the same thing over and over again, although many of us would probably be quite happy with that. I understand that there are things that aren't going to be coming back, things that are definitely now coming back, and I can also understand how it can be super hard to make changes to a game that is pretty basic in its formula. And I do think that they did that with this update. They had a lot of things returning, but with a few twists and turns, like the fact that they're bringing back gyroids that you can customize. I do really think that Nintendo did a really good job in bringing back the classics, but switching them up a bit, if you will. And the last person that I'm going to touch on today in regards to the update is probably the one who is making the most anticipated comeback. An absolute perfectionist to the pour over. Cold Brew Captain. First place French press, the most exceptional espresso. Vin Scully took over my body and I am now a baseball announcer. The Colossus of Cloud. The absolute and only caffeine queen, Brewster. All I can hope for is that him and KK have taken it back to their roots or their roost. And will really be awakening the inner hipster in all of us. Sipping on our hot cup of Sumatra, listening to some KK grooves with all of our friends in the roost. Really starting from the bottom and now he's here vibes. You would think with so many beans on his bar, with his feathers full, Brewster would have no time for anything than fine grinding and breathing. But there, you will find yourself wrong. Far, far, far from the truth. Brewster is always finding time to be the talk of the town, or at least listening to the talks of the town. And this is where we will be diving into who we will not be seeing in Animal Crossing New Horizons, and why it is such a tragedy. Entertaining and romancing the evening mail clerk Phyllis, and being oh so involved in this love square affair cannot be put past Brewster. So let's go ahead and start off by introducing you to, if you don't know already, Phyllis, Pelly, and Pete. The actual Animal Crossing telenovela. The absolute chismosas. Okay. Get this. Pelly and Phyllis are sisters who could not be more opposite. Not only in their personalities, but also in their work schedules. Pelly, with her sweet and kind and cute personality, works the day shifts at the post office and is the younger of her and her sister Phyllis. Phyllis, the mean and oh so crabby older sister, works the evening shifts at the post office. She is very short, much shorter than me, and very rude every time you two seem to cross paths. And both sisters work alongside Pete, who is the mail carrier for the post office. Charismatic, young, and naive, and quite a bit oblivious are just a few words I can use to describe Pete. And oh boy, does Pelly have eyes for him and all of his oblivion. In previous Animal Crossing games, Pelly can become quite furious when your character uses its slingshot to shoot Pete out of the sky. You may also find yourself interrupting Pelly many times, daydreaming about going on dates with Pete. She says things like this: "Tonight, Pete and I finally get to go out on our first date. I wonder what I should wear. You don't suppose he's going to wear his postal uniform, do you? If only we really were going on a date. I guess I'm just an April Fool." In Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, you'll also find her talking about how her sister does not approve of these feelings, and how she's been harboring said feelings for a certain special pelican. The reason that her sister disapproves of these feelings is because Pete actually likes Phyllis. And get this, Phyllis knows that Pete likes her! And I can't believe that Pelly does not know this, because it's all that Pete will go blabbering about around town to you and all of the other villagers. He says things like, "I bet Phyllis is just playing hard to get. That's so cute. Maybe next time she'll be even more abrasive. Hey! We don't kink shame on this channel. Anyway, I wonder what Phyllis is doing tonight. Probably working. I was up late last night thinking about Phyllis. Why do I always do this to myself?" And remember, I touched on the word oblivious? Guess what? Phyllis blew me a kiss today. She put her hand up to her mouth and went, "Mwah, choo." Then she blew her nose into a tissue and someone said, "Bless you." Whatever. I know what I saw. Not only are Pelly's feelings not reciprocated by Pete, because he makes this clear by saying, yes, I've heard there are rumors about me and Pelly, and I really don't appreciate any of it. Pelly is very nice, and she makes me very nice lunches, but how do I put this? She's too much of a child. I'm interested in a more mature relationship. But I can tell you right now, Pete's feelings are absolutely not reciprocated by Phyllis, as she can be seen late in the evening at the roost, chatting it up with Brewster, saying things like, "I hope that fool doesn't come bother me here again today. I'm not interested. Brewster, I feel like you're the only one who understands me." Okay, I get it. It definitely could have been an over-exaggeration to say that Phyllis and Brewster are involved romantically, because they could just be friends who can't be bothered with the drama of today's youth. But they are definitely not innocent in this love affair square. Or maybe they are absolutely in love, and now we'll never know. While we cool off from sipping on that boiling hot tea, why not talk about two more characters that are going to be massively missed, at least by me? Gracie and Rossetti, both of who are mentioned and paid a small tribute to in ACNH. I look back on both of them with such fond memories. Going from reprimanding characters in Animal Crossing GameCube, which could have been made useful in ACNH, as many of you could definitely use some reprimanding for all the time skipping that you've been doing, to then running a reset surveillance center with his brother, Rossetti was the conscience guide we never knew we needed. The Jiminy Cricket to our Pinocchio, because y'all be lying about all the time skipping you've been doing. Rossetti is and will be missed, but definitely not forgotten, as I am a firm believer that he and his brother Don are the ones behind the rescue service in ACNH. This has not been proven, at least not to my knowledge, but it's definitely hinted at, because the same jingle that plays when you call the rescue services from your Nook phone is Rossetti's jingle in all of the other Animal Crossing games! And with that, let's get some F's in the chat for our old pal Don Rossetti. Just kidding, that's his brother, Sonny Rossetti. I turned on my light, so I'm so sorry that it changed. I'm just really not used to the sun going down so early. It's only 5:44 and it's almost dark outside. Please don't tell them that they were last, because they are definitely not least. But none other than the fashionista, Miss Nintendique herself, Gracie. I touched on Gracie a little bit in my last Animal Crossing history video and the huge role that she plays in the background of the Able sisters family, because frankly, Label and her sister's newfound love and relationship would not have been kickstarted without the influence of Gracie. But if you want to know more about that, check out my last video. Gracie's first appearance will be taking it all the way back to Animal Crossing GameCube. The oh so famous self-made fashion designer, many of the villagers would describe her as snooty, maybe stuck up, maybe a little self-centered. But hey, no sweat off her back or neck, because she's a giraffe and her neck is pretty long. Because she's the #1 name in fashion in the Animal Crossing universe. And in her first appearance, she's absolutely here to turn heads, as she can be seen wearing her signature tank top, which becomes the staple design for future clothing, accessories, and furniture items that she sells. You can find a lot of these items at her shop in City Folk called Gracie Grace, or in New Leaf at the TNT Emporium. And at this point, her only known employee or protege is the one and the only, you guessed it, Label, who left her sisters behind to live such a lavish lifestyle in the city and pursue her dreams of becoming a famous fashion designer, to then only become Gracie's little gremlin and later leave that part of her life behind, which again, you can catch more of in my previous Animal Crossing history video. Bringing it up to current times, in Animal Crossing New Horizons, it appears that Label is the newfound face fashionista of the Animal Crossing universe. Although the little chismosa in me would have loved to hear all about the downfall of Gracie. Alas, we may never know, as there doesn't seem to be much talk about her in Animal Crossing New Horizons. And with this being the last major update, I don't foresee us tying up any loose ends. But the less crashing and burning, the better, I guess? I know Animal Crossing New Horizons has to be its own version of the franchise. I just can't help but miss some of the small details, like insight into these villagers' lives and the feeling that the characters are more than just NPCs and are a little more relatable, a little more down-to-earth, personable. When I think about it, there are still quite a few things that are missing from ACNH that I hope will come back in the future, or that we'll even get some closure in regards to. So many questions, like what happened to Copper and Booker? Where is Blanca? Did Katie ever find her mom? I guess all of those are questions to be answered another day. And that, my friends, is the end of this Animal Crossing update / history video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for sticking around this long if you did. Let me know what you're most excited for, or if there's anything that I missed, or anything that you are going to miss, or anything that you were hoping for that isn't in this update, because as we know, it is the last major ACNH update. I appreciate every single one of you, and I know Milo appreciates that I'm wrapping up this video because all he wants is my attention, which is well deserved. And he said you can take that to the bank. I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And until then, peace out.